Hey, welcome back to Jaycee Reacts and another episode of An Architect Plays City Skylines. So, off camera, I've had a couple of successes and tested a few things. So, first of all, I've installed a couple of new mods and discovered what was causing the issues with the Rico settings mod, where buildings weren't despawning when the zone was being changed. So, I had a building or two here that was low density residential. We put down the high density residential zoning and nothing was going on. And I've now got to the bottom of that and the reason for it and fixed it and tested it, and I know it's working. Was mucking around over here earlier on with the Rico, ploppable Rico, and I'm going to give that another crack. So we're going to set this Scarlet Street up in particular, and maybe all of Mesa Jar Jar up to follow a certain style, and then we'll have a crack at Footrot Flats to do something similar. I'm not sure whether Footrot Flats will be. I mean, again, this is an inner city suburb that should have a high value on all these properties. So it's either going to follow one of two themes. We're either going to go with the Brooklyn, Manhattan sort of theme that I was originally going to go with down here. I might do that up here on Mesa Jar Jar and have the Australian Federation stuff along the bottom and have just those two sort of 19th, end of the 18th, end of the 19th, start of the 20th century sort of styles sitting next to each other in the same suburb. I might do, I don't know. In fact, that might be the way to go. And I might make Footrot Flats a bit more contemporary, sort of newer housing. Birdsong Square, I'm going to make the American / international suburban theme. So this is going to be a real suburban area. Big sort of shopping mall going in here. Not my favorite sort of setup in the world. I'm not a big fan of suburbia. It exists, and let's see if we can make it look half decent in our city. And this big suburb is going to be one of, if not the only, sort of suburban sort of setup. You know, your 2.4 kids and a white picket fence sort of setup. It won't be the only one, but it's going to be the main one. It's going to be the largest one. I think with the Rico mod in place, we'll be able to do quite a few things that will help increase our population, although it is growing now anyway, without growing the footprint, without getting the urban sprawl getting too out of hand. The other big sort of win, and you might already, well, if you've been paying attention, you'll notice it. This used to be this ugly big gash running through here, and we got Cross the Line to work, the mod that lets you fix main infrastructure such as highways, rail lines, and I'm hoping waterways outside, and water supplies and electricity supplies outside tiles that you own. Now, the problem with that is now that I have gone right through the entire map and put in all the tunnels and stuff for the train lines and our highways the way it should have been at the start, I now have to pay for their maintenance because I put them down. Whereas these roads out here, the highways, Davies, oh, that's still a bridge for some reason, Ward Highway and Davies Highway out here, and all these highway spaces here, I don't have to pay for their maintenance because I didn't put them down. The other thing I've been thinking about is this janky solution and how we've sort of buggered up the entrance, or I buggered up the entrance to Birdsong Square. I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with how it's come out. But on thinking about it, I do have a solution. One that will address a future problem. And I realized what I could do here, and it eliminates any need for a tunnel. So I'm going to fix that in this episode. I'm going to Rico all this stuff. I'm going to Rico Birdsong Square in our shopping mall. I might start with that, given that that's where our demand is. I'm going to put some office space down here. Actually no, I will definitely start with the residential stuff in Mesa Jar Jar and then Footrot Flats. So then I can set this to play while I'm doing all the Rico down here, because I do want to, by the end of this episode, get this population up to 12,000. I do suspect that I'm going to buy this next tile as well. I think that's pretty much locked in, even though there are major arguments against it and for buying this one instead. I'm going to do this one. If we can get our population up to 12,000 by the end of this video, then we're halfway, I think, to getting another new tile. Is that right? So 7,000. 12,000 will get us another tile. Okay, so I'm going to hold off. I'll see if I can get 12,000 into what we have, and if I can, and I suspect we should be able to, then I'll be able to buy 2 tiles, and it won't be a big deal. I can just buy either both of these or this one and this one. I guess it will depend if I can get the 12,000 into these 3 squares, whether I can make this hook work, this loop work, when I only buy this one tile. Yeah, I think I might just bite the bullet and buy this. The problem with it, as I said, the problem with it is like across the rivers, I'm going to create another interchange or here, highway interchange here. I'm not going to do any more interchanges. Like this highway will basically just serve to feed into these two highways. And you come in from off the map, you swing a left if you want to go to this side or go into Birdsong Square. You swing a right if you're heading up to the north side or the west side of Mesa Jar Jar or into this industrial area here or into the the forestry industry. I don't see the point in having an extra interchange here. I don't think it will serve any use whatsoever. So that's the plan. There's a lot of building to do, a lot of Rico plopping to do, and if I manage to pull that off, you'll also notice I haven't done the decoration here. I'm going to do that in this episode. I'm going to change this into the stacked interchange as well, and then decorate this highway and put all this here under the tunnel. All right, so a lot to do. I did miss the high school, and I have been sort of procrastinating on the shopping mall and the high school in here. It could be, how many students have we got? In 289, how many have we got? Yeah, that's going to increase significantly. I get the feeling that I may need to move our small high school up on top here, because I do think the population for this suburb is going to be a bit bigger than I anticipated, and it's going to need two high schools, which is just crazy, given that this high school, our main sort of standard high school, will hold 900 students. Anyways, I'll figure this out as we go. There'll be a lot to talk about when I'm done. I think, first things first, I might do this road first, because it is the bane of my existence. A lot to talk about when I get back. There'll be a lot to go over. I'll see you on the other side. this has been eventful to say the least. I don't even know where to start. So you'll notice that, all right, let's start with the LUT. The colors will look a little bit more vibrant. I changed the LUT last night, I think it was. I was just before when I saved and then started again this morning. So we've gone from that sort of washed out, harsh, bright Australian sort of sunny day look to a sort of cooler, more inviting, more colourful sort of palette. It's a lot greener. So I determined as I was to do something a bit different, be a bit more thematic and not just, play the game randomly. I pushed on and used the ploppable Rico model, the Rico Revisited mod, and there's something not quite right with the settings because I spent hours, and I do mean hours, putting all these Australian, using the Rico mod, with the game paused, which is my mistake because that's how I work. I never have the game running while I'm doing stuff like that. And in hindsight, God, I wish I had, because I would have seen it straight away. So I spent hours putting down all these Australian buildings, these terraces, Sydney terraces and stuff like that are all in here, and looking great. And I spent out a lot of time setting all this up as well. So I had all these Art Deco buildings, inner city terraces, Edwardian terraces, Federation terraces, Victorian terraces, all this sort of stuff. Some corner pubs coming out the wazoo. There were pubs everywhere. Anyway, hours doing all that, and then I went, instead of press and play, I went, okay, I'm gonna roll now. Let's do Footrot Flats, and I made that all basically a little New York. It was Brooklyn / Manhattan all around the one-way loop, and on the inside had some American houses, suburban houses that are sort of mostly populating the now renamed Barrington Plateau over here. This was what, Birdsong or whatever. So I then pressed play, and this happened. And instantly, all my houses were gone. They were all gone. Almost every single one of them. All of the little Brooklyn buildings, all of the Australian buildings, all the contemporary buildings I did up here, they were all gone. No idea what was going on. There is some setting in the Rico Revisited mod because I have dropped... God, the LOD on that's really bad. This is a fairly famous building in Sydney. It's called the Horizon. I have dropped this a number of times, and it disappeared instantly, straight away. This time I put it down and it stayed. I have no idea. This building here is also ploppable Rico. It stayed. Same with this one. This one. So there's a couple of them where it's worked and buildings have stayed, but for the most part, I drop a ploppable Rico and the building just disappears. I don't know why. Being offline, I had to look at all these settings. I rage quit earlier when all my building, after spending hours building these suburbs, they look so cool as well, and I just rage quit. So I'm not going to do it again. I've changed this Mesa Jar Jar now to be an eco suburb. I've put some pars down and sort of fixed the outlines, got rid of some retaining walls which looked a bit crap, and left the rock face and the cliff face looking a bit more natural. The silly thing is, the game, what you need to do for the game to hold that shape is put a path or a road down. So that's why there's paths at top and bottom. And now it doesn't matter what I do in terms of landscaping, this cliff will stay in place at worst case scenario, and I'll have 4 squares deep to put buildings down. So Mesa Jar Jar, as I said, is now going eco. I've moved the smaller high school from bottom here up to the top and added a high school because I did think when I was putting all these terraces and stuff in, the population here was going to be insanely large. I think it is still going to be quite large. I think I underestimated it. So the small and large high school in here, and the huge big high school that's now in Footrot Flats. So Footrot Flats, it's just basically a mix of high density and low density. You can see some of the terraces. Oh, that was the other thing as well. So these buildings have only just spawned. You'll notice I probably throughout the time lapse, I kept coming back and forward over to Mesa Jar Jar, and there were no buildings, none, except for the 3 or 4 that I'd left behind. No buildings are spawning, and it's still going really slowly. I think I didn't realize this previously, but I do think the game does punish you for eminent domain if you go around bulldozing stuff, because I was bulldozing stuff left, right, and centre here and plopping buildings down, and yeah, now they just won't come back. It has taken a while for this population to start growing again. As I said, I was back and forth at Mesa Jar Jar it just would not grow. It's just taking forever. But in the meantime, so I set up, and this is growing a bit slowly. So we've got our the international houses in here. It's not the American urban stuff in here now. So this will take a while to build up. It's not as, in terms of leveling up, there's not as many parks and services and stuff in here. The land value is not going to be anywhere near as high in Footrot Flats, I don't think. So, I mean, it's creeping in because of the proximity of these schools and parks and stuff here, but the real value is along this waterfront here. We're going to pump the value up on top of the meter as well. So this can all be fun. This will be my highly educated, highly affluent sort of area up at Mesa Jar Jar. And Footrot Flats will eventually be. It's an inner urban suburb, although this suburb, whatever's going on up here, is going to be all high rise. So the school is now huge, and it houses 3,000 students, and it's one of a kind. It will be the only one of its type in the city. Same go, it's got the footpath around it, and the football field, and the tennis courts, and yep, all good. Primary schools are unchanged. Nothing really has changed here. It's just not bloody growing. That is a byproduct of the complete and utter collapse of my commercial industry, my commercial sector. All my commercial buildings are gone, all of them, because my city was just ran out of people and everyone left. And as I put this down, there is some employment issues going on here. So I have this thing doesn't even have 50% of its workforce capacity. That's the main shopping centre down a nice little parking spot. Got a Woolies and a Coles, but they're sucking up people as well. So we've got 53 workers at Woolies and 53 at Coles, 55 at Woolies, and 30 at Aldi, 184 at Home Depot, 35 at Coles. What is Coles, by the way? Because it's not the Coles, the two Coles here, which is going to be confusing. This is I don't know. I've never heard of this shop before. I know what a Home Depot is. Pergola running over the street. That's so cool. And we've got our little underground parking next to our parking lot with our fancy little shopping centre. And we've got a Target, which has 300 workers, and a Michaels, which is a what? Decor, arts and crafts. Oh, okay, cool. 62 workers. So I wasn't counting any of that, but I'm guessing there's around 2,000 workers in there. Is that right? 700, 300, 1,000. Oh no, so about 1,500 workers in there. Well, it's still a lot. So they're at threat of closing down, and I was sort of freaking out a bit given, I didn't finish that. I've got to put this path down, connect it. I might as well connect it to here. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. Yeah, anyway. So we've got around 1,500 workers in here. My commercial industry has completely collapsed, unsurprisingly, because they had no staff. Shops were closing all over the place, so I just let them close and bulldozed most of them just to keep these 5 or 6 shops open. There were and still, I don't think there are, no new commercial areas at all have spawned. There's not enough people to buy goods. There's not enough, well, there are now. I've got no commercial over here at all. Oh, that's not right. We can't have that. I'll need to remember to fix that. There should be a couple of commercial areas over here at least. Can't have none. I've got one Woolies down here. No, that's not on. Can't have that. Let's fix that now. Not that it matters because, no one is buying anything. They all seem pretty happy to toddle on over to the new suburb. They're going to be, they will sit empty for quite some time. This is going to take a while to catch up, I think. So what's our next milestone? 14,000. I don't think that'll take long. I'm not going to do any more building. I'm going to let this play out a bit and see if it fixes itself. So yeah, as I said, we've got our this almost crippled my city, but it's pretty cool. I like it. It's come up all right. I've sort of stopped detailing it because I want the surrounds to sort of fill in a little bit, and I'm not completely opposed to the idea of street, whatever it's Ashwin Wright Street, jutting out across here and putting in a couple more ploppable shops because this is all dead space. So Barrington Plateau needs a high school, 3 or 4 elementary schools. Needs 4 elementary schools. I think so. I'm running short, so that's going to have to be the first thing I do next. Do another elementary school. Okay, Lookmar, we have grids. I did say, and I even entitled an episode Lookmar No Grids, and I wasn't going to go, all town planner on you, but I did the 5-year course and I figured out what a square is, and now
Here is an ordinary square. Whoa, slow down, egghead.
I can do grids. It's just because this is a pretty tight space, and because I don't think I'm going to have a lot of industrial areas, I'm going to have more than just this one, I think. Even allowing for the fact that I'll be going, climbing up these hills and getting oil and ore out of here, I think I'm going to have more than just this as a specialized industrial area, or as a generic industrial area. Perhaps. I don't know. Maybe. Depends on how big the city gets. I did sort of think it possible that we'd pop another one sort of up here somewhere. I don't know. for now, I just want to see how this grows out. I'm in a position now where we can buy our 2 new tiles. I do think it will be this one. I think it'll just be these two. I think that might be the way to go. I think this is as far to the north as I can go. My starting tiles here, I can only go 5 tiles across. Yeah, that's it, pretty sure. Industrial says buy me. So it's done. Stop thinking about it, just do it. Okay, so, oh yes, and I haven't built a single train line. This is coming down, actually. It was at 65, 70,000. But I think if I ever get to switch off the unlimited money, we're going to be tens of millions of dollars in debt by the time I get to do it. Although this is coming down. And I haven't turned on 2 of the policies yet, which, well, I'll talk about the policies in a second. See if I can keep a single train of thought. Just so much is going on here at the moment. So let's have a look at our economy. As I said, I haven't laid down a single line of train track, and yet I'm paying $13,500 a week maintenance. The $35,500 a week maintenance for roads, most of that is on the highways that I put in tunnels and the train lines that I did likewise too, and put them in tunnels over here and all over the bloody map. And the overusage of this tram line. I mean, if I was building this city and I had a budget and had to watch it, this most of these would still be dirt roads, because I do tend to build stuff and then demolish it and then build stuff and go, right, that's finalized. So a lot of these here would still be dirt roads. The suburbs like Footrot Flats and Mesa Jar Jar and all that, I think they're pretty concrete. They're not going to change now. Barrington up here, the forest stuff, these will stay as dirt roads, and these are the cheapest roads you can get, but there's just the amount of traffic up here is going to be such that that's fine. And going through a forest, that's kind of realistic, sort of, anyway, in theory. So what next? I will now finish off Barrington Plateau. See if we can get population's 12,400, 27% unemployment. I don't know what my labour force is. It doesn't actually tell me. It gives me percentages. It's 50%, say. So say it's 6,100. Say 6,200. Let's call it 6,000. 4,600 are employed, quarter of them 1,500. Yeah, that's right. So I've got a labour force of about 6,000, and I've got 1,500 looking for work, and there's 5,400 jobs available. Now that could be because it could be an issue with with the disparity of education versus, yeah, see, I've only got 6%, 73% of my population is still uneducated. And this is a difficult line to walk. You do need a low skill, uneducated workforce. I mean, there's no point in throwing down unis and high schools and, having enough university spots for every single person who matriculates high school. See, and I like that it will hire someone overeducated. I don't want it doing that though, to make up for a shortfall elsewhere. So this has 65 jobs available. I need more people finishing high school, straight up. I need more high school graduates. I've got plenty of uneducated. So I think the problem might be that I have a lot of uneducated people in my city, and all the uneducated labour looks like it's gone. That is the problem. That is the problem. Yeah, there's not enough low skill work available. There's a couple up here. I did not keep track of that. Damn. So I need to get some industries down. I'm going to be chasing my tail here. So I'll pump another road out here. I'll map out, because this is going to be gridded. I can just set this up now, and then fill it in as I go, because I know exactly how this is going to play out. For the next episode, we'll create the next interchange somewhere over here. I will grid this all out. I'll connect up my tram loop. I'll get my tram running about bloody time. In fact, I'll get my tram running first. I'll get some schools down in here. I need probably, I don't know how, what'll I do? I'll probably set up 2 high schools and 4 elementary. Oh, I'm going to need more than that. But see, if I put 2 elementary schools, yeah, this shouldn't be that. Yeah, by the time I map this out, 2 high schools. I'll do the math and stuff off screen for what I need. I certainly need elementary schools. I really just need the commercial spaces to infill. So much for the office demand. Not a single one. That's because all my jobs are for unskilled labour. All right, let's leave it there. There's a lot to do. For our next episode, I think we're going to be aiming to get to the capital city, 24,000, which will give us another tile, and I can start building a uni and our fishing industry in harbour, definitely. Oh, I can bring in a train line though. Look out, I can put down a train station. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.